Okay, recording is on. Well, you will see recordings hence from now under a little bit changed thumbnail. Thumbnail would be getting changed. Okay, so we are starting the concept of DOM. New folder, day 61. Now everything we were writing in a JS so far. Now index.html again back in action. readme.md, DOM manipulation starting or intro. DOM manipulation intro. So day 61. And here we can see index01.html. I hope you guys have got time to practice the thing and to get a time to work on the project. Project has already been explained what exactly you need to build. HTML5, and here we can say DOM basics, right? Now CSS style01.css and a JS file app01.js. app01.js. Now what I wanted to do here, addition of two numbers. Let's have main so what we need to do is addition of two numbers. So here if this is our page, I will introduce the concept by means of one practical example only. If this is the page, very important thing, remember that input box, this is also input box, and there are four buttons: plus, minus, multiplication, and division. So here I am going to enter 3 plus 3, 3, 3. If I click the plus here, result will pop up like this, 6. If I click minus, answer would be 0. Instead of 6, it would be 0. If multiply, answer would be 9. If division, answer would be 1. Either, I'm going to click either of the button. Now in this case, you know what do you mean by HTML. You know how to align these things, that is CSS. And you know the JavaScript. Just linking between this and this, you don't know. And that thing is called as DOM. What is DOM? We will see. First, let me create the thing. Body, HTML, body, width, HTML, body, Okay, where is that? Width 100 VW, height 100 VH, 100 VW, 100 VH. Correct? Now what? Main. Let's style this main. We need this as H1 or something. Input box. This. Can you tell me how you will align this? How you will align this? CSS3. Hello? Am I audible?
Flex layout or grid layout.
Correct. So we need flex layout. Just import the CSS. Link rel CSS. Style 01.css. Class. Or instead of class, let's use the tag name. Main. How to assign flex to this? Display flex. Display what? Flex. Flex direction. Column. Width 100%. Height 100%. Now here we can have this input. Type is equals to number. Again this input type is equals to number, and we need a div, and here we need buttons. Value plus, minus, multiply, and division. Here also let's take this in a div. Let's shift them to this one more div, and here h1. Here we will show the result. Now if you go here, just open with, reveal in Finder, and let's open it here. Okay, result and these two input boxes. Can you see? Let's take this to the center. How do you take this to the center? Justify content center, align items center. If you have not practiced HTML and CSS3, you need to revise it again. Okay, now input and type is equals to input. Okay, we need to select this thing in CSS3. Can you tell me how do you select that? Can you please tell me how do you select that? Select this in CSS3. I want to select this in a CSS3. Yeah, input type is equals to button. So if you want to select only buttons, you can select it. Input type is equals to button. And what I need to do, font size, say 2em. And if you go here, input button are okay. Input type text, say 2em. numbers. Sorry, input type is number, actually, not text. Yeah. So here you can enter the numbers. If you want them to be one below other, this also need to be a flex. Now we need little margin between these buttons and this. Let's increase the font size of buttons also. Buttons also. Can you see little increased? And we need a gap between these two. Class, let's create a class, margin top 2 or 3, and we can create dot empty margin top 16 pixels. Refresh it. Empty margin top 16 pixels. Okay, empty 2. Can you see little gap is there? Now what? You got the UI. So if you want this to be one below other, you need to create this div. You need to select this div. Either you can use pseudo selectors or create the class IPs. IPs means inputs. Dot IPs display flex and flex direction column, right? And here also we can apply empty margin top to this guy, class empty 2. Can you see little margin is there? And these buttons, and result would be updated here. Correct? This is the basic UI. We have developed a lot of UIs. Now on top of this, we need to access these input boxes into this JS file. For that, we just need to import the JS file first. We have seen that script src and app01.js. So whatever JavaScript you will write over here can be here. Now if you go here, so this is the JavaScript area. And if you document and hit the enter, so this is the browser JavaScript, remember that. And browser gives you access to the load. Can you see? Browser is saying that this page is loaded presently. And inside JavaScript, browser gives you access to the loaded JavaScript. Browser gives you access to the loaded JavaScript by means of one object called as document object. Browser, can you see? Document is the built-in object, like console is there in the browser. Document is also one of the built-in object. Document is also one of the built-in object. If you want to access any of the element, any of this element in a JavaScript, you need to take a help of document object. And that is nothing but what the DOM is. Document object model. DOM stands for what? DOM stands for what? Document object model. document object model. By means of this document object, you can access complete JavaScript in a complete HTML in a JavaScript. For example, let's give ID. Here I can say IP num1 ID IP num2 and ID to these buttons also. ID is one of the attribute which allows you to give you what you can say access. And on click these are the events. So whenever you click this button, whatever function you will pass, that would be getting called. So let's write the function normal JavaScript function on add clicked is this. Similarly, we can write one more function on subtraction clicked, on multiplication clicked, on division clicked. Let's write the console. Console would be as it is. You know what do you mean by console. Addition clicked, multiplication clicked, subtraction clicked, multiplication clicked, division clicked. Right? And here you just name the functions, which function to be called on the particular click. Add clicked. Can you see bridging between JavaScript and HTML? On MUL clicked, on div clicked. You know what do you mean by function. We have seen. Now go here, refresh the page and click the plus. Can you see addition clicked, subtraction clicked, multiplication clicked, division clicked. Addition, subtraction, multiplication, division. Correct? Hello? Am I audible?
Yes. Yes, sir.
Now what? We have got the click events. We have got what? Click events. Now you have given ID to these guys, these two input boxes. You have given IDs to these input boxes. So by means of ID you can access them. Now see const. You know what do you mean by const? IP num1 is equals to, so via document object you can access this, you can access this. Document object refers, if you click document again, this document object contains whole HTML. Right, so if you want to access this div, if you want to access this input box, can you see if I hover over, that input box would be selected. So the way classes in the CSS by means of class ID, we have seen ID also in the class. CSS selectors are class ID and the element name. Same ID is here. So if you want to select this also can be used. This ID also can be used. Now see here, this const num1, you need to refer document. Get me that element, get element by ID, whose ID is IP num. num1. Give me that element inside this HTML whose ID is this. Similarly, you can get another element IP num2. Here also num2. So this variable name can be anything, no problem. You know that. But this thing should be same thing that you have written, because this ID get element by ID. So you need the particular element whose ID is this. So this is just a variable name. This can be anything. Just for understanding purpose, we have kept like this. Now if you print console.log IP num1, go here. Can you see you got complete input box? Can you see here? I have consoled this IP num1. IP num1 is this. So if I'm entering something here like this, and we know that every input box is having something called as value IP num1 dot value. So go here, refresh it, type it. Can you see you get 2424. Similarly, if you get plus IP num2 dot value, this would be the addition. 1 1. Click on the plus. What would be the addition? 11. Hello?
Yes, sir.
Addition is 11.
No.
Then
Addition is 2.
2. Then what's wrong in the code? We have pasted this in a JavaScript, right? We have seen this concern in a JavaScript also. What is the issue?
The string plus string.
Yeah, correct.
Is always string.
So this is which means that this is a string, and string plus is anything, always string. So you need to convert this guy to the number. How do you do that? Number dot parse int, convert it to the number. Similarly, this also, number dot parse int. Now do this 1 plus 1, and can you see now answer is 2. Earlier these were strings, but we have seen that number conversion. So this string is getting converted to the number. This string is getting converted to the number. That's why you get the 2, right? You are getting the addition. Now here you need to set the addition to the result. The way you have assigned ID to these things, here also you can assign ID, say RES or H1 RES, HRES result. So here you can do const HRES is equals to, again, document dot get element by ID. So ID would be HRES over here. Now see, this is a text data, HRES dot text content. We need to change the text content, and instead of these two, just write it over here, refresh it, 1 1. Can you see answer is 2? Answer is what? 2. DOM. Just basic idea I have given how you are going to work with this. Event, how you have handled the event. On click is a built-in event. On click is built-in event. We are going to see that. This thing only we are going to see. Just I am giving you overview what we are going to learn in the DOM manipulation. You might have got the idea. The structure we have created in HTML is not new thing for you. We already have done a lot of structures like this. The CSS we have written is not new thing for you. You know what do you mean by weight. You know what do you mean by display flex. What do you mean by justify content and other things. What you don't know, even what you know what do you mean by function. You know what do you mean by const. You know what do you mean by console.log. What you don't know in all of this code is only this line, document.getElement by id. You know what do you mean by parseInt. If you remember the JavaScript session where we have learned the nan, converting string to the numbers, right? At that time we have seen what do you mean by number.parseInt, converting string to the number, right? So what is a new thing in this code? You know what do you mean by function, what do you mean by this console.log, what do you mean by this backtick, and you have written over here. Just few things have been added. ID we have used at the time of CSS also. Class we already have used. Hash, if you want to refer this input box by means of ID, we have used hash, right? Dot class. Now, on click is the thing new to you. On click is the thing that is new to you, right? And that falls under something called as DOM manipulation. That is something called as what? DOM manipulation. What is DOM manipulation? JavaScript, browser gives you access to the loaded JavaScript. I'm repeating my words once again. Browser gives you access to the loaded JavaScript, loaded HTML. Browser gives you access to loaded HTML. Browser gives you access to loaded HTML by means of predefined object called as document. Can you see this is console is the JavaScript. You can access anything you want to access. You can dynamically change this header. You can dynamically load this CSS. You can apply styles dynamically over here. You can manage the scripts dynamically over here. Whatever you can do directly in HTML, all that things you can do via JavaScript, this part. The gist of that I just have shown you. Correct? Hello? Now it's a homework. The way I have done this thing, complete for subtraction, multiplication, and the division. Remember that? We are at the end of front-end course. After this, actually HTML, CSS, 3 JavaScript will end. And React will start. React, Node.js and other things will start. So remember that this is the way to make a communication between your JavaScript, styles and HTML. Who makes the communication? Document object. And throughout this DOM, only few sessions are remaining. We are going to see how these things are getting accessed. And you need to complete the project now. You have already developed the screens in HTML and CSS. Now that screens will get interaction by means of the JavaScript. Nothing is fancy. Just if you got this line, that's it. Nothing is fancy. Nothing is new. Similar to the console.log, there is a document.getElement by ID. And it is pretty descriptive that it is going to go to the HTML and give me the particular element. And on this line, from tomorrow, I would be starting project implementation, and at same time, I will explain the concepts. Okay. You're not audible.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
I will not give you a burden, because this code you need now. See, as a web developer, you need to remember HTML also, CSS also, and the front end JavaScript code also. So there are few members for full stack engineering course. They need to remember database code also, backend code also in the Node.js. But those participants for the web development, they need to remember these three things in action together. Right? We will see time to time. Okay. Fine.
So, thank you.
Yes.
sir.
Thank you. We'll meet tomorrow.
Yes.
Thank you.
Sir, please code is updated.
Yeah. JavaScript DOM basics. Just intro lecture, not basics. Many things we need to see. Okay. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you.